We are live. What's going on, guys? What is going on? Just waiting for Jesse to get here, and we'll have a chat. How's everybody doing out there? How is everybody doing? Hopefully good. Hopefully good. Have a little afternoon chat with Jesse. See what's going on. See how everybody's doing. Figured we'd pop on. We got a little bit of time. Okay, so how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, what's happening?
Oh, just killing. I had to go get some blood, blood taken. So
I know I was going to say you're not too lightheaded or woozy for this chat, are you?
I loaded up on chocolate chip cookies afterwards, so I'm good.
Great.
Been an interesting week, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the JASMY pump obviously has been pretty awesome. Wouldn't be the right call if we didn't talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no. There's been a whole lot of negativity over the last day or two, though, about the price. Like, it's really scary how quick sentiment changes, eh?
Yeah, but you know what's funny? I don't know if you've been following Fetch AI at all?
I have. I've been following most of the AI coins lately.
So FET has the exact same market maker as JASMY, and look what they're doing with FET.
Yeah, it's a prelude to what we could see with JASMY for sure.
Yes, absolutely. It just kind of goes to show you, it's like the power of a good market maker can really kind of bring your coin to life. What's funny is with Fetch, I did a couple videos on Fetch like probably a few years ago, and I really liked it back then. And I remember recently there was something with them about them splitting off because I want to say they were headquartered somewhere around Cambridge in the UK, and they were like splitting the business apart, and part of it was going to Dubai and whatnot. And there were a lot of people that were kind of talking about that, like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Can't really figure it out. And in the meantime, the chart has just been on fire. Like, your average investor doesn't care about any of that. And it really does kind of go to show like how powerful it is to have a good market maker,
Oh, 100%. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything.
I was gonna say, yeah, like FET has been one that I've had my eye on for, through almost this entire bear market. I really did think the whole time that in the long run, I think it's going to actually outperform Singularity Net.
Yeah.
It's just a better team, better market maker, better everything, man, in my opinion. I mean, it has further to go too. I mean, what is the let's have a look. What actually is the market cap of it right now? At 2.18 billion. And then for Singularity Net, what are we looking at? 1.51. There you go.
Yeah, interesting.
Performing it.
I reviewed Singularity Net also, as I recall, and I think Singularity Net was like a data exchange, and Fetch was that was a lot more. I really liked Fetch when I was looking at it. The irony in Fetch is that I thought about buying it for quite a while, and at the time, I don't think they had their main net live yet. Like, they're kind of like JASMY, right? Where they started on Ethereum, then they created their own main net. And then the rate that they were rewarding was like 20-something%. And at the time, I knew about, some other coins that were doing more. So I never went over with Fetch at all. And now I'm kind of kicking myself for, like, I probably should have put something over there.
I'm pretty sure that all of us have probably 10, 15 projects we feel the exact same way about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I look at the market right now and because I've been accumulating obviously for the last 2 years through the bear market, right? And
Mhm.
I look at some of these projects now and I'm like, fuck, why didn't I buy more of that? Like, why didn't I buy more Solana? Why didn't I buy, like, why didn't I buy these things? But I guess at the time, your priority is whatever project you're looking at, right?
Well, one of the things that I kind of ran into last time was I felt like I was too spread out, and I really couldn't follow each thing as closely as I wanted to. Like I just had too many coins because
Oh,
at the time on my channel, I had this thing where I was sort of like reviewing everything. I was like, just give me a coin, I'll review it. And I'd find coins, I'd go, hey, I kind of like that one. I'd put a little bit in that one. Then I'd review another one. I go, hey, that one's pretty cool. And then after a while, I got like 20, 30 coins. And I kind of realized afterwards, I'm like, this is like impossible to manage all these different coins.
I do the same thing. Yeah, we look at the gems and it's just like, hey, man, this could go right.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Um, but real quick, on a side note, there, you just what you were saying about the main nets and stuff kind of made me think about something I was listening to earlier, and it was I can't remember who it was. It was a YouTuber, but they were talking about layer twos on Ethereum and how apparently there's like 42 or 43 layer twos on Ethereum right now.
okay.
And this perspective that I see sometimes in crypto, like, well, I mean, most of those are going to die because we don't need 42, layer two scaling Ethereum, right?
Hmm.
And that's such a glazed over response, and I can't stand that. Like, you and I are very similar when it comes to this stuff. Details matter,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it's not like you can't just glaze over all layer twos and say, wow, these are all, because they do different things for different projects. Like Jasmy is a perfect example in their Jasmy chain, right? It's
Yeah.
not just gonna die because there's too many layer twos on Ethereum, right? It actually does something for the company.
Yeah, yeah, and Ethereum, as much as as tribal as people can be, and sometimes it's like they pick their favorites, right? Um, Ethereum, for as much as certain people may not like it, it's still pretty dominant. I mean, it really is. And like I've been watching Ethereum the last couple days. Like, man, it's really kind of taken off again. And who knows whether whether Vitalik can ultimately kind of fix all of its problems. I kind of equated that before to like, swapping out the engine of your, you know, 92 Corolla and putting a Tesla in there or something. It's like it's not the easiest thing to just switch all this stuff around and hey, now it's, everything's fixed, right? So it's kind of got like inherent problems, which has led to all these layer twos. Um, but at the same time, like the Ethereum market share is still really strong. Um, which is kind of surprising,
Well, I mean, which kind of addresses the elephant in the room when it comes to Ethereum, right? Would Ethereum really be where they are in terms of dominance for altcoins had it not been for the SEC's uh, you know, influence, right? They really gave Ethereum a really big head start on every other layer one out there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't understate Gary the Clown.
Yeah. So it's so you have to ask yourself, like, again, like, would they be there? And I've been of the perspective of if Ethereum doesn't, and I honestly, people say it, they say, oh, they're going to fix they're going to fix the timing, they're going to fix the fees. I've been hearing that for years now,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, people keep asking the question, is there another layer one that's going to end up passing Ethereum, right? And my answer to that is, I mean, obviously not in this particular bull run coming up. No, it's just the gap is just too large, right?
Yeah. I
I
agree with
mean,
that.
yeah, like Ethereum's market cap's like 24.7 billion. The closest after that's BNB at 3, you know.
Yeah. Ethereum is kind of like
Or wait, no, that's wrong. That's
Like if you play video games on your phone and you can level up on it, right? Like they're already leveled up way beyond somebody starting new. So you know, like a good example of this, an analogy would be like I play this Star Wars game on my phone, right? I've been playing it forever. Well, there's other guys that just start playing tomorrow and they will spend a truckload of money on this thing, right? You know, I haven't really spent all the money. I've just been doing it forever. Um, so at some point, could they pass me if they spend enough money? Yes, they can. But when you think about like a project passing Ethereum, it's like, I don't know, that's a tall order to catch up to them, you know?
Well, that's the thing. If you think about, sorry, I'll correct myself real quick. I was reading the 24-hour volume, not the market cap. Market cap's actually 466 billion versus 72 billion. But
yeah, that sounds more like it. When you first read that to me, I was like, like, well, I haven't looked at it in a while.
I haven't looked at it in a while. Yeah. But to kind of touch on that is that it does seem like it's a big mountain to climb, but at the same time, with so many solid layer ones that are going to like, because it's not a 1v1 situation. It's not Solana versus Ethereum and then Solana is going to slowly overtake its 52 different layer ones that are all chipping away at Ethereum's market cap, right, over time. Yeah. And I think that's where eventually the whole pack is going to start to climb up towards Ethereum, because again, you know, Ethereum, it's not just Ethereum's market cap's going to stay here and they got to climb. It's going to be like this, right? Because again, like are these as we start to see larger money come into crypto and utilize the technology, are we really going to see big money just accept paying massive gas fees and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, of course not.
So
yeah,
exactly.
I've always kind of thought it would be almost like computer brands, right? So you think about like, well, like what are your different brands? Like, you know, your Apple, your IBM. You know, now there's all these other ones like Lenovo and Vio. You know, there's all kinds of different computer brands out there, and it's like, is one of them gonna win one day? Like, or one day we're just gonna go, hey, you're the winner. You know, I mean, you could kind of say that Apple is kind of like in that category now, but did they actually win? Not really. You know, it's more so like maybe they've just gobbled up more market share, right? And that's kind of what you have over time. You know, same thing in like car brands, right? So you think about all the car manufacturers out there, and look at Tesla. You know, Tesla's taken off, and it's probably pulled market share over to it. But is Tesla going to be just like crown the winner? No. You're still going to have all these other brands, you know. And I think crypto is really like the same way.
Well, and that's the thing, is that people look at this with finality, and there is no finality.
No.
Right? It's there is no finish line when it comes to technology. Every generation is going to be more advanced, you know, better than the last, right? Because you have people who worked on Ethereum, they migrate over to different projects and they bring their experience and their knowledge that they learned working on Ethereum. And you know, Charles Hoskinson is a perfect example, right? And then it just continues. Yeah. It's a perpetual cycle, and everybody thinking that with the mindset that there's some sort of finality to this, there's just not, right?
No, there isn't. So in other news, you know, the people in the chat will probably like this. I have to ask you if you saw the announcement that Jake Paul is going to be fighting Mike Tyson, and I want to know who you got.
I literally just saw it about a half an hour ago. And the first thing that came to my mind was, for Jake Paul, this is just about money. It has to be. It has to be about money, unless it's a personal thing that he just always wanted to fight Mike Tyson. You know, it's one of those two things, because this is really a lose-lose for him, right?
Maybe
in terms of you know, who wins the fight, so to speak, right? Because if he wins, well, I mean, you beat up Mike Tyson, but he was old as hell, right? And if he loses, well, you got beat up by an old man. So so where's the glory in this for him? It's either money or a childhood dream, right? It's one of the two.
Yeah, I think the marketing behind it is he's attaching his brand to Tyson, right?
Yeah.
So forever moving forward, when you think about Mike Tyson, people go, "Ah, remember that time he fought Jake Paul?"
Yeah.
Right?
I
Um,
just read a comment from Craig in the chat in the corner of my eye, and he said, if Mike Tyson gets knocked out, it'll be a sad moment. And I agree, it would be a pretty sad moment if Tyson got knocked out.
if
But yeah, if. But a couple of things. One, I have seen videos of Mike Tyson still, and he's still fast as hell, right?
yeah,
When it comes to his punches and stuff. And for two, uh, anyone who thinks that this fight's going to be anything except an exhibition fight is kidding themselves. There's not going to be any kind of major knockout or, it'll go the distance. Tyson's cardio will probably end up dying down and he'll get carried for the rest of it. But this is an exhibition fight at the end of the day, right? I can't see this being a Rocky versus Drago, but I think they'll give it to Jake Paul. I think the fix is in. I think it'll just be a close, but a decision for him at the end of the day. Tyson gets a payday. He doesn't get embarrassed, right? Because he still has it. And at the same time, he doesn't lose his temper and embarrass.
Yeah, I actually read Mike Tyson's autobiography, and it was really good, like really good. And you kind of see, like, whatever you think about him, you kind of see how he got sent to prison, and you see the whole thing through his eyes and whatnot. And I remember when he got out of prison, and his first fight was Hurricane Peter McNeely, right? And I remember, they marketed it as like, this huge pay-per-view fight, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Tyson's back! This is insane!" He's fighting this guy, and Peter McNeely, I want to say, lasted 8 seconds, and he simply fell down. He simply fell down, and they were like, "No more, that's it." And Tyson didn't land like a single punch. I mean, he was just, throwing everything he had at him, right? So I'm hoping that in this fight that hopefully Tyson lands a few of those. Like that would be really interesting to see him land a few and then see what happens from there. Oh, hey, we lost Rob. All right. Let's see here. What's going on in the comments?
Sorry, buddy.
There you are.
Had a winter storm here last night and knocked my power out for a second there.
Oh, okay.
Pain in the ass. Sorry, you were saying about Mike Tyson's biography there.
No, I was just saying, I remembered his first fight back from prison, and they hyped it and hyped it and hyped it. And the other guy he was fighting lasted like 8 seconds, and he simply fell over. And, he got like this $1 million payday. And, Tyson like threw like, 18 haymakers, didn't land a single one. The fight was over. Right.
It'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, so we should probably get into some JASMY. I know these people want us to talk a little bit about it.
Sure.
So yeah, in terms of the price action for the week, pretty crazy, or for the last 3 weeks, actually, 320 something percent.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's done, to be honest with you. I think we're laying a support right now at 2 cents, around that 2 cent 2 resistance support level. We're kind of, but I mean, I think we're headed towards 5 cents once we break through 3. There's not much resistance up there, so
I know.
It's funny to me that just 1 month ago we were talking about JASMY and it was at like 1/6 of a cent, and now we're talking about 5 cents.
This is crypto, right?
Yeah. That's insane. And to see some people bearish, and that's what it is. Like we have a run up for 6 7 days in a row, and then we have one day of correction, and all my comments are, oh, here we go, here's the dump back down to sixth of a cent. And the
Yeah.
mentality is just like, and I'm like, guys, like, you can't act spoiled when it comes to crypto, right?
Yeah. When you zoom out and look at the all-time chart, I mean, this entire epic run, it doesn't even show up, you know? There's
Yeah.
nothing there, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, like, let's go to, how high can I go here? I think I can only go to the 1 month on. Yeah, I can only go to the 1 month on here, which is kind of crappy. I'd like to go to the all time, zoom right out and show, but this is a blip on. We got a long road ahead of us still, but um, I'm really excited about this month, man. I'm hoping that you got some time set aside because we got a lot to cover this month as the month goes on. Um, I'm hoping that we can get a lot of streaming in as these situations kind of unfold. I mean, we have the lockup information coming. We have the PDL, the JASMY chain. Whether they launch it or not is going to be interesting to see. I really hope that they're not kicking the can down the road. Again, we talked about how Hara said that the tech itself is ready. They're just trying to get over regulatory and licensing hurdles, right?
Did you see the post from Blake where he asked them about the lockup, and they said something about some partnership with an exchange or something like that? Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that? But I think that you're the first one that I heard mention that, though. When you and I first talked about the lockup and how they might go about it, I think you said that back in December or January. When you and I were talking, you said that you suspected it would likely be in collaboration with the exchanges or something along those lines, because people kept asking us where they're going to get these tokens to get locked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone was worried they were just going to steal their token and lock them up.
Yeah, yeah. I asked Blake about this because I thought that was kind of an interesting response that they said. And he was, he kind of made the comment about their Keiretsu structure there in Japan that, they usually work in a group of multiple companies, right? And so if you think about, JASMY has that tie-in with BitPoint Japan. Could they have, another tie-in to, let's say, Binance Japan, or, whatever other exchanges there might be? And could this be more of like a group effort? That's the weird thing in Japan is like, it's more of a group mentality versus like, I mean, at least here in the US, it just seems like companies kind of operate on their own more so than in a group. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how that looks. I mean, I think I kind of envisioned it more with the wallet, right? Because the wallet's the interface. The wallet is where you would put your coins and then, do whatever you're doing in the ecosystem with your data or whatever. So the idea of locking it up on an exchange is kind of like an additional wrinkle in a way that, ultimately, whether it's locked up or not, what really matters is the amount of hodler wallets, right? So like on Etherscan now, I think it's like 63,000, something like that. And you got to remember that a lot of people, it could be way higher than that, because that's including wallets from like Binance and things like that could be, thousands and thousands of people. You never know.
I'm just gonna now. I haven't heard this or anything. I have nothing to base this off of. I'm just putting this out in the universe. Okay.
Okay.
Shit up. Wouldn't it be interesting if all of the JASMY that Binance has been accumulating over this time period was for that purpose in the first place? Collaborating with JASMY to lock these tokens up. Wouldn't that, just saying, wouldn't it be interesting, right? Like 9 billion tokens.
Yeah, the funny thing on that front is I think Binance sort of operates with impunity, and they do things like that all the time. I really do think they do things like that, right? Because I mean, you got to look at how much power and influence they have, and they're sort of like, you know, in this worldwide loophole tax haven, you know, and it's like, how much can we get away with, right? You know, and they've always kind of had an attitude of like indifference, right? They're just sort of indifferent to like what are the rules, right? You know, it's like they're just sort of indifferent to it. So could they do something like that? I suppose they could, right?
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah, theoretically they could. Now, whether they actually have or are, no idea. And I don't know who would be making that decision either. That's the other thing, you know.
Yeah.
And even, you know, the funny thing is, even when they created like Binance US here in the US, right? They left the US market, then they create Binance US, and they had a CEO and everything for Binance US. And at the time, later he quickly resigned, and he said that he realized, like, within the first couple of months of being the CEO of Binance US, that CZ was actually still in charge of everything, even
Yeah.
though they were trying to make it look like he wasn't, right?
That's entirely shocking, right?
Yeah. I know, right?
Let's hit the comments real quick to answer some of these questions before they build up.
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got? I don't know. Can you see them over on your end too?
Yeah, I can.
What do we got? That's not really a question. Just checking if there's any questions. Mike Tyson talk. Any thoughts on Swift coin? Yeah, we're not going to go looking at other alts in this one, guys. I'll do some looking at some alts later on in my stream this evening. We're just kind of shooting the shit right now. So, JASMY following Bitcoin right now. What will break JASMY out of that grip? What do you think, buddy? I know we both the same thing, but
yeah, I would tell you what would break it out of that grip would be the lockup and or more wallets, right? The more people that hold it, the more it breaks the grip. That's basically it. Otherwise, Bitcoin is like the moon and over the tides. It influences everything.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like you said, the only thing that's going to separate it is that. We'll kind of see how it goes. I'm honestly more intrigued about how this is all going to play out than anything else. I'm not even looking at it from a financial aspect personally. I'm just really, we've been looking at this and talking about it for so long that it's like, I just want to know what the hell we're going to do now with this, right? Like, just for pure satisfaction purposes of knowing. Hi guys, realistic price, please. JASMY's realistic price, please.
Realistic win.
Yeah.
that's
timing's everything.
Yeah, you know, I mean, gosh, our chat that we did with Max, I was kind of thinking at the time, I was like, nah, no way, I don't know. And then it was like the keg ignited the moment we ended the chat. Boom, off it went, you know.
Just to prove you wrong, eh?
Yeah. I was like, huh. Well, okay, then we're back in business, right?
Yeah, I agree, and it kind of leads into something for me. Is that yesterday, like someone had put in the chat, and this is like, there's so many new people to crypto, and it's for lack of a better word, I'll use the word scary, right? But some people, it's scary that some of the content creators out there, the things that they're saying with zero research. We touched on this before, right? Like, we have hundreds of influencers now making YouTube videos with JASMY and price predictions and stuff like that, with looking into absolutely nothing that the company's doing. They just go to CoinGecko, they look at the max supply, they look at the price right now, right? And then they just throw out a number and say, well, the price would have to be or the market cap would have to be this to get there, kind of thing, right? With meanwhile, again, like you and I always say, details matter, right?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, they do.
Lock up.
I think, I'm kind of torn on this. I'm kind of 50-50. Maybe even less than 50-50. I think, you know, I get into it for like the idea that it is, right? This kind of world altering disruptive technology thing. I like the Japan aspect. I like the government ties. I like the corporate backgrounds, all that stuff. So that's all great. The chain itself and the wallet, obviously that's right around the corner. But, sometimes things run on people talking about it, right? And I mean, we always talk about Cardano, and that's exactly how Cardano ran. Is everybody started talking about it, everybody wanted some, everybody bought it, and off it went, right? And I think Jasmy is kind of like the same way. So it's like, you think about the memes. I've posted a couple different videos of that the guy from South America, that they overdub him with what he's actually saying, and it's like really funny. And I always think about about Jasmy kind of like this. That I mean, it could go on people just talking about it alone. So like when they start, like I've seen a lot more posts lately. They're like, oh yeah, Jasmy easily to $1, Jasmy to $5, Jasmy to $3. When Cardano ran, it was all about Cardano going to $5, Cardano going to $10. There was a lot of $10 talk in particular with Cardano, right? So if everybody in the Jasmy community started saying Jasmy to $10, Jasmy could go to like 350. I mean, it would be absolutely insane, but Cardano already did that. Like it's not like something new, like this has never happened before, you know what I mean? And at the time when it did it, like Cardano wasn't even on Robinhood when it did that, which was just crazy.
Yeah. I agree. I've been saying the same thing that you just said, is that like people say, well, anyone who says, well, that, that can't happen, or what are the odds of that happening? But like we literally just witnessed it happen in the last bull run, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not unprecedented, right? It could completely happen.
And it doesn't even honestly, the idea of the lockup is kind of like a feel good thing. It's like an assurance, right? It's like, oh well, they're locked up. So then it's really out of there. Okay, great. But at the moment with all the long-term holders out there, they're locked up also, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that took their Jasmy and put it in a ledger or cold storage somewhere. Technically, that's a lockup, right? They're not in the supply. I mean, I know my whole bag is quote locked up.
Yeah.
I'm not unloading it anytime soon.
Well, and that's another factor for me that I think is overlooked, is that there's only like 63,000 wallets. And I mean, I know that I see it on X and stuff like that. And people say, oh, we're all the way up at 63,000 wallets. That's nothing. Shiba Inu, like I told you before, 1.2 million wallets. That tells me the potential for growth, right? In a project like Jasmy that has so much utility, can do the same thing in terms of wallet size as Shiba Inu has done.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And SHIB is simply popular, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Doge knockoff. They named it SHIB. Okay, great. I mean, it really had nothing behind it other than that. And the way that they did it, was genius. That they put so many zeros in it that the narrative is always SHIB to a penny, and we'll be rich. SHIB to a penny, and we're all rich, right? I mean, that is a tall order, getting SHIB to a penny, right? With all those zeros. But it's kind of like this thing that most people don't even understand that. They just buy it up, right? They just get some more SHIB. And especially now that it's on Robinhood, they just keep loading it up. So again, going back to Jasmy, I mean, one of the really good things with Jasmy, obviously it's not Robinhood, but it is absolutely everywhere else. I mean, it is everywhere. So why couldn't it go on like a historic run of like a Cardano? I mean, I totally think it could. And what's crazy now is we're starting to see all the accounts come around that's like 200,000 subscribers, 50,000 subs, and they're like, heck yeah, I just bought some more Jasmy. And I'm like, sweet. I'm like, heck yeah, like keep beating that drum, Jasmy to $10. Keep saying that, and we'll pass $3 and I'll walk away with millions and I'm all good,
Well, and it's not just specifically Jasmy that they have to mention, but like I was watching, I don't know if you know them or not, but All In Crypto is a British YouTube channel there.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty big channel, and he was talking about IoT and DPIN the other day, and so it's not just specifically Jasmy that has to be brought up, but these bigger influencers start mentioning DPIN and IoT, things like that. What are people going to do? They're going to start looking up IoT cryptos, right?
Yeah.
In cryptos, what's going to pop up? Jasmy. Oh, I'm going to get me some of that, right? So,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
you know what I wish Jasmy would do that they haven't done yet? This is like one of my low-hanging fruit things with Jasmy, is I wish they would open like a merch shop of just swag, like Jasmy shirts, Jasmy hat, a Jasmy koozie, all those little things like that, all these stupid little ridiculous things. Because, I've seen the guy on Twitter, the Jasmy Canada, that's selling the gold coins.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool, right? And a lot of people have bought them. And I think, it's like a huge missed opportunity that it's like they got to start selling that brand, like if they could just make some stupid little shop and put some merch out there and people start wearing it all the time, I mean, like that could really catch on, right? I mean, it's a popularity contest is basically what it is,
Yeah. Well, that's what SHIB did. You saw SHIB merch everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
They started doing NFTs and things like that as well. I mean, Jasmy could get into that. I agree. But somebody had said in my comments yesterday as well that, well, if they did zero lockup to get to $1, Jasmy would have to have a $10 billion market cap is what they were saying. I think it was 10 billion they were saying, right? So if I go to Jasmy right now, so it's got a $1.9 billion market cap, right? That's where we are literally right now. So to get to $1, we would need to be at 10 billion according to this person, and that, according to this individual, was completely unrealistic for a project like Jasmy. Shiba Inu's market cap is $18.67 billion. So a project with zero utility, and this isn't to bash Shiba Inu, right? Don't get me wrong. But when we're really comparing apples to apples here in terms of utility, you know what I mean? Like Shiba Inu doesn't really hold a candle to everything that Jasmy's doing when we're talking utility.
Right.
So why Shiba Inu get to an $18.61 billion market cap in some people's eyes? That's completely within the realm of being realistic, because it is right now. But Jasmy to get to 10 billion is just like an otherworldly ridiculous, right?
So, I think I posted the other day that the current crypto market cap, and I looked this morning, it was $2.6 trillion, right? Previous all-time high was around 3 something. And so who's to say that in this cycle, the crypto market cap doesn't pass $10 trillion, right? That we 3x from where it is right now in terms of the crypto market cap. I think that's possible. I actually really do. And I keep thinking about the Bitcoin ETFs and how, that's a thing that raises all boats. Everybody goes up with it, right? And that IBIT, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, is like unstoppable right now. I mean, it's just crushing it. And so when those ETFs start getting into retirement accounts across the US, how many people you think are going to pick those up, right?
Did you see the announcement about yesterday? I think it was yesterday or the day before. Actually, I think it was it Arkansas or Arizona, something like that. One of the states down there is actually in the process of considering exactly what you just said. The announcement was yesterday.
Yeah. So, like for most people with a retirement account, like a 401k, you look at it and it's like, yeah, it's up 6% on the year. It's up 12% on the year. And it's like, you're kind of like, God, like, why aren't we getting, okay, so maybe we're not lumping crypto into it, but now you have the ETF that it's like a stock way of getting crypto, right? I mean, it kind of accomplishes the same goal, but it's more secure, right? Because you don't have to deal with the actual Bitcoin itself. Obviously there's some downsides to it, but there are some upsides as well, right? In terms of getting hacked and losing all your stuff, you don't really have to think about that. And when you think about just the corporate the corporate apparatus, this machine that runs here, there are so many retirement accounts with so much money just sitting there looking for something good, right?
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
Hundreds of billions of dollars, right? And lately, what something good is like an ETF, right? Like the semiconductor ETF, SOX. That's a good one. Okay, like people look for things like that. But now you've got this Bitcoin one, and it's still at the very beginning. It is still the very beginning, like that's the crazy part. So it's like if you could start offering the Bitcoin ETF to retirement account holders, then the idea of it raising all boats, it could raise the entire marketplace tremendously, right? And then what we're talking about, things like with JASMY, are not far fetched at all. They're really not. And that's kind of something you have to like get your head wrapped around with crypto is, it just the whole concept of it is kind of hard to understand because you're trying to compare it to like a stock market, and it really just does not operate the same. And the Bitcoin ETF cannot be understated.
Well, yeah, and to lead into that is actually like you said, like I know it's still some people are still trying to wrap their minds around the concept of running out of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But pace we're at right now, it's only been what 2 months, something like that, 7-8 weeks. At the pace we're at right now, and we're doing what 12 times a day more buying pressure on these ETFs than is being produced, something along those lines, correct? So in April, when we have the halving event, that's like 24 times more on a daily basis being bought up than is being produced. That is kind of not being really recognized. And so we are facing, where are we going to be at a year, 2 years from now, the peak of the bull run? How much Bitcoin's going to be left to buy? I was just doing a video, I think yesterday, on the fact that the reserves on exchanges for Bitcoin is actually starting to run lower, right? They're going to the OTC, is what I meant. OTC reserves are running low. Where are they going to have to turn when they can't get it OTC anymore, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
market.
And think of it like this. I think what you're kind of tapping into is this idea. Think of mining, right? Mining Bitcoin. So I know in one of our talks, I had told you that I had seen a post where they were putting the largest Bitcoin mining facility in the US in Texas right now. And they've been invested over $300 million to build this thing, right? And the halving's right around the corner. So if you think about it, you go, wait a minute, they invested $300 million, but the rewards are about to drop in half. So they're going to make half as much money. Why would they sink in $300 million? Well, the reason is because the price is going to keep going up. The price is going to go up. They don't care that the rewards are being halved. They're betting on the price is going to keep skyrocketing. And they're absolutely right. And you look at all the people mining it, building their mining rigs. Even one of my friends on Twitter, he's in Texas too, and he just posted some videos like that of a whole mining like semi-trailer deal that he's doing with some friends, And I even asked him, I was like, are you actually mining just Bitcoin, or is it Bitcoin and other stuff? He's like, nope, not messing with anything else, just Bitcoin. Like, huh, interesting,
Well, and I think that we are going to see a massive supply shock, and it's going to reflect in the price, whether it's in the short term or the medium term. I think that a big impulse is coming soon, and I think that what we're waiting on is basically the market to come to the realization that we just discussed, that we will run out of Bitcoin at this pace, right? And when the market starts to realize that, then I think we're really going to start to see a lot of FOMO and panic. Like, we got to get as much as we can from these big money, institutions before it's gone. Right?
Yeah. Michael Saylor recently put it best, right? And Saylor said 99% of all Bitcoin is mined by 2034. You got 10 years. You got a decade between now and then. Yeah. What do you want to do? Right. And that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, I think I told you when I first started my channel a couple years ago, I did a video, one of my early on videos I did on Bitcoin. And I realized that if I had just put $50 into Bitcoin back in, 2010, 11, whatever, it would have been worth millions. Right. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person that I feel like I throw hundreds out the window every day. Every day I take $100, I'd slide it on fire, goodbye. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I think the whole Bitcoin thing, when you look at it in that light and you go, so even if I start with nothing, even if you're only putting in $5 a day, something like that, whatever your number is, 10 years from now, I mean, that could be worth a ton of money, right? Yep. I mean, it really could, especially now with the ETFs, and with 99% of it being mined, you got 1% left. Like, that's it, And I mean, you look at how much Bitcoin's lost forever. You look at how much gets lost in just like transactions and things.
Yeah,
it's something that should keep going up,
The other thing too that's really got me curious, and it does pertain to JASMY's price as an ERC20 token, is the Ethereum ETFs coming. There's going to be, in my opinion, there'll be just as much buying pressure on Ethereum ETFs as there is on Bitcoin ETFs once it's approved.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And what's that going to do to ERC20 tokens? Do you think that that's going to have a positive effect on them?
Maybe, possibly. I mean, if you think about it, if all the problems that Ethereum has, if we can solve those with money, then could we solve more problems with more money? Theoretically, but maybe not. I don't know. Hard to say.
Well, and that's the thing is the people buying them, these Ethereum ETFs, they're not going to care about transaction costs and stuff like that. Like, they're in it for the gains, just like you and I. And anyone who says they're in it for the tech is full of shit. I'm sorry. Unless Charles Hoskinson,
Well, he left because he was done with the tech.
Yeah. So I think that's going to add to this pressure. That's why I've been saying that I think that a lot more money, like you touched on $10 trillion possibility of a market cap for the asset class. I agree. I think 10 could be, at the end of the day, conservative. I've looked at possibly 15 in this 13 to 15 going into this bull run. Again, with these Bitcoin ETFs is just a small taste, right? And people have been saying to me, I'll use this as an example. People have been saying to me, like, is it too late to buy? Is it too late to buy altcoins and stuff like that? And I'm like, guys, like, people are saying, is the cycle going to end earlier because it started earlier? If you really do a deep dive into this market cycle and compare it to other market cycles, and you look at the statistics that we've looked at in the past, like Google Trends and stuff like that, we're not ahead of schedule like people think we are. In
No.
terms of Bitcoin price action, yes, we are. But that's because of ETFs, right? These spot Bitcoin ETFs. If you look at YouTube searches for crypto, if you look at the same phrases you looked at in the last market cycles that was spiking, like how do I buy crypto, things like that on Google searches, they're still way down. The regular retail people or wave is not even here yet, not even started to come here yet. So it's deceptively early, but it's not early, right?
Yeah.
It's very deceptive. And I used your phrase in yesterday's live stream because people keep asking me, like, what's your price for this? Is the market going to end sooner? And I'm at a point where I'm saying, guys, we're literally going to have to start addressing this on a day-to-day basis because this is a moving target and it's going to keep moving, right? There's no one who's going to nail this,
No. No. And with Bitcoin, I mean, could Bitcoin go to like 500 grand this cycle? I don't know, man. Like that's a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's like it's crypto. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Well, that's just it, right? And how far is it going to crash in the bear market? Because again, I know that I addressed this with you guys last time we talked, is that anyone who thinks that these ETF holders are not going to take their profits at, I don't know, $200,000 when they bought at $50,000, $60,000 is fooling themselves.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, they could take their profits, but again, what? See, this is the part I think that throws people off. Where they see something spike and then they see it go down. Really, it's like a diagonal heartbeat. Goes up and down, up and down, up and down. All we care about in the long run is that it's going up diagonally. Like
Yeah.
that's it. And even the Bitcoin ETFs, I mean, they could be the same way. But then again, maybe not. I know when we talked before, I talked about BlackRock and their role in the real estate market here in the States is crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they decided they were going to start buying houses. They bought all the houses. They raised all boats, and everybody kept saying, "Yeah, the real estate market's got to correct. It's got to correct. It's got to correct." Hasn't done that.
No.
Hasn't done that. They raised the baseline, and it's like, huh? I guess this is just the new price now.
This is just where we are, I guess.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a whole bunch more time, so I just wanted to go to a couple of the questions. I'll work backwards here. See if I can find a couple because I don't want people to feel like we're ignoring them. Not really a question, but Alistair says it can reach 50 billion easily, regardless of lockup. Lock up 50% to 50 billion to $2. To reach $1 target, it should have a market cap of 50 billion and a low lockup. Well, it would have to have no lockup, not low lockup. Right? If you're running off exactly 50 billion, that means zero is locked up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody had actually asked me in the chat yesterday too. They had asked, they said, yeah, but what if they, like, they're saying they're going to lock up, but what if they don't? Well, I mean, the whole basis of the PDL kind of relies on that part of it, right? So
Yeah.
there's no PDL, and then
Yeah.
there's
Good
no
point.
JASMY. Yeah, so it's not really a hypothetical road you want to try to go down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point.
But that same person, on a side note, before I get into another comment, had asked me if I thought that JASMY could still go to possibly $1 in this bull run, considering, and I quote, that this bull run is 70% over already.
Mm.
I said, whomever is telling you that the bull market is 70% over before the Bitcoin halving even happens, I suggest maybe expanding your ecosystem, echo chamber, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for, something like the bull run, you just got to look at the overall environment that we're in, right? Like, is this environment one that could lead to something more? Uh, Definitely. It definitely could.
Yeah. Solo says, is Coinbase still down? I don't know if it went down today, Solo. I know that it went down a couple of times during the last couple of pumps. So, but I don't know. Is it down today? Did you hear anything, Jess?
I have checked on it a couple of times. I haven't looked at it today, where they have the red banner up top, saying they're experiencing issues. But it's basically a symptom of there's only so much water that can go through the pipe at any one time, and once you have more than that, then that's it. So the whole thing kind of doesn't work.
Here's an interesting comment here, and I've often wondered about this myself. Maybe you
Yes,
can enlighten
it
me.
is.
It is, yes. I thought so because I
Mhm.
see a lot of channels doing that. I know that Tony from Thinking Crypto sells a lot of merch with like XRP logos on it and stuff, and I'm sitting there like, is that okay? Like,
No, you should be paying them a royalty if you're selling a shirt with their logo on it.
yeah,
He's probably not, which kind of, leads you to question, like, how legit is this channel?
yeah. I've often wondered that because I know BitBoy did that before too. He had all kinds of
Really?
he had Cardano, XRP, all every pretty much if you go back to I don't know if you can still look up their website from BitBoy since they've done their whole but oh yeah, all their merch. It's like they had one sweater he was wearing on his show every day, and it had like 10 to 15 different crypto logos on it. It was just in circles, right? Just all over like polka dots. And it was just a bunch of different Solana, Cardano, Dogecoin. Like, and I was like, how did you get permission from all of those companies to do
He
that?
didn't. He simply sold his soul for crypto. That's exactly what happened. And it all came due recently. He had to pay the piper on that one. Now he's an MMA fighter.
Yeah. What do we got here? Rob is right. The small wallet holders lets you know. Do not sell. Uh, Wait till meme coin season ends. This people will look like cheap projects to hop on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going nuts, eh?
Yeah.
There's not too many questions. Oh, here's one. Says, hey Rob, do you think it's a coincidence that Binance Japan have started trading with yen 3 weeks before Q1 Japan? I mean, you can't have a Japanese exchange without a Japanese coin, right?
Fair point.
Yeah, very, very true.
Yeah, the wrinkle with Japan is their whole stablecoin law that the financial institutions can issue their own coins,
Yeah.
or you could have something like the JPYC stuff. Um, it's a different environment there. It's really interesting. I think they're kind of onto something.
Speaking of which, did you go over that press conference or that announcement out of Japan there last week? I got to talk with Max about it, but I never got to chat with you about it.
No, what are you talking about?
Well, they were talking about their economy and the part about adopting digital assets. They talked about. I'll send you the link, but so you can watch. It's translated to English, but it's like 2 hours long, right? Because it's with their entire economy. But part of it is digital assets, and they talked about setting up programs for companies for startup companies like digital asset startup companies to start in Japan, welcoming in more of these projects and these companies. They want to have their startups out there to boost their economy and stuff like that.
Hmm.
They talked about I took some notes. I'll tell them to you real quick here. They talked about I don't want to get the wording wrong, so yeah, they talked about building they're enhancing their digital infrastructure with safe use and flow of digital data. They want to establish a digital policy office, right? Pretty much half of what they said is directly correlated to JASMY as a company, right? They talked
Yep.
about allowing these companies, for example, JASMY, to start testing in stable coins. Um, they talked about building a mechanism to facilitate data trading, and how that is particularly important to them in digital finance. And yeah, so I mean, it's very, very, very largely centered around a lot of the stuff. A lot of it was basically the safe, secure storage and usage of data was a
Yeah.
lot that they were talking about. And you were just sitting there going, Sky might as well just say JASMY, right?
Yeah. I think on Twitter, I think it was Auntie Jasmy covered this very well. Maybe a year or so ago. Where he had posted, by the way, Auntie is a man. He had posted
Unsubscribe.
that threw me off at first. You know, I was like, Auntie's definitely a woman. He was like, nope, I'm a man. I'm like, oh, okay. So Auntie's a man. Anyway, me and Auntie are pretty good friends. And so Auntie had posted all about like the smart cities and just kind of the government, like their whole platform basically is geared all towards digital assets and data and trading and IoT and all the things that JASMY is a part of. That's exactly what they're looking at. And what's crazy is all the speeches from the prime minister, they kind of align in this exact same way. Like everything kind of has all come into an alignment all at once, right? And you know, they had the Nikkei hit its the first like all-time high since like the 80s. Like the mid 80s was the last time it had reached this area, and it just did it, I want to say like last month or something like that. Yeah. So if you kind of look at all those factors, you know, they're kind of like I think that they've realized they're onto something. And like I said, they're working as a group. It's like, you know, a group of ants that they all have one goal, and they all kind of work together towards that goal, which is really kind of unique in terms of just a cultural aspect. But you know, you can't understate that with JASMY.
Yeah. Look at the, I don't know if you can see the chart, but it seems like we're having the stream effect again. We're pumping the price.
Yeah. Get it up there, right? JASMY to $10. That's what I'm just gonna start saying everywhere. JASMY $10. They say JASMY, I'm gonna go $10. You know, and we'll see if we can get this thing to like 350. You know,
it worked for Cardano. It can work for us.
Hey, it worked. JASMY $10.
Yeah. Hashtag let's get it trending, guys. Oh man, awesome. Yeah. I'll send you the link for it if you want to watch it. But like I said, I sat through about, it's 2 hours long, and the digital asset part of it is basically covered halfway through. So maybe skip ahead for about 45 minutes.
Okay, thanks for the heads up.
Unless you care about their housing and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But anyhow, I got to get going. I think I'm right up on my hour here.
Yeah, 1 hour and 3 minutes. Perfect timing, brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you going to have some time this month to cover some of this stuff that's going on? Because it's all going to be last minute stuff, obviously, right? We can't know when they're going to announce everything, and in terms of, you know, I'm sure it'll come out one by one and stuff. But are you going to be around at all, or are you going to be available?
Yeah, I'll try to be available a couple days here and there, so we can coordinate something, get together, chat about it. You know, we didn't even talk about today. I'll just mention it real quick. There was a post, or not a, yeah, there was a post from the ETH Denver, the conference that Hara just went to, and it was like a candid post, and it's him and Akira-san, and they're talking to some girl, and she must have just got a selfie with him, because you can see the picture on her phone with him in the selfie. And I got to admit, you know, he's looking pretty dapper. I mean, he's got like a nice suit. And I was thinking, you know, looking at it, that I felt like Akira-san, he's missing his odd job hat. Like he's got the hat like Odd Job from the Bond movies, you know? And we really got to get him a suit. So I think, you know, in the community, everybody's got to, these are the couple messages we got to get out there now is we need Akira-san to get a suit and Jasmy to $10. Okay.
Well, on a quick note to what you're saying there, I read a quote from Hara, a post from Hara today about being there. And he said, I actually gained a lot of confidence through this event. It was an unforgettable experience with truly great group of guys. So I gained a lot of confidence through this event. I wonder what he means by that. Meeting with VCs and stuff.
Well, you got to remember, English is his second language. And English versus Japanese is extremely difficult to learn. So that tells me that he felt pretty good talking with people. And I mean, you see him, he's laughing and, you know, and he's probably telling jokes or whatever. I don't know. They're snapping photos and whatever else. It looked like he was
having crush my dreams, man. What?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I get it. All right, buddy. I'll let you head out. I don't want to keep you, make you late.
All right, man.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a message, or if you're around, man, and you got something you want to chat about, like just fire me a message and we'll get on live and we'll have a chat.
All right, we'll do. I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, later.